night at 6 p.m. My name is Kalavati Devi. For those of you who are new to this program that we're doing, and tonight we are going to be covering verse 24, names 166 to 172. Before we begin, let's go ahead and set our minds into a sacred space, clear the air around us, and give greetings and salutations to the Holy Mother's beloved Son. Bring your hands to heart center. Inhale. Aum. Second time. Aum. And a third time. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Ekadantaya Vidmahe Vakratundaya Dhimahi Tano Dantihi Prachotaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Ekadam Sraya Hastamakaya Lambuldarai Uchistamahatmane Om Krom Rim Ge Ge Swaha. All right, so let's go ahead and begin. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Chayadama, Jema, Wolf Deadwood, Jema, Katyani Betta. Good to see you. Boomy, good to see everybody. So tonight I have several pictures that I'm going to be sharing, but towards the end. And let's go over our verse tonight. Good evening, Louis, Jema, Kaku, Jema. All right. So this is what the verse sounds like. Remember, every week I put the verse and description in the description of the video. So it sounds like this. Jagajjīvamayī haimavatī māyā mahāmahī nāgayajñopavītāṅgī nāginī nāgaśāyinī. And several of the names tonight are Kali Maa as the serpent. And I'm really excited to get to those, but those are towards the end. So let's go in order. The first name, 166, is Jagajjīvamayī. We talked last week a lot about Jagat, the universe, the world, the cosmos, everything around us. And this name means Kali Maa, who is the manifestation of all life on earth. And we know that Jagat is the universe, we already said that, and Jiva is life, the vital force. In particular, we hear the word Jiva when we use the term Jivatma, the individual soul. And if we know a little bit about the difference between the Jivatma and the Paramatma, we know that the Jivatma is an expression of the greater consciousness, the pure consciousness. And that the Jivatma is our individual soul, which is sometimes clouded by Māyā, which is one of the names that we'll be talking about tonight. So Jagajjīvamayī Kali Maa is the Shakti in every living being, the plants, the animals, the human world, and even the life that's in the other world. We've talked about Kali Maa, the Smashana, and with disembodied souls. All right, let's look at name 167. Haimavatī. Haimavatī. And this is she who is born in the Himalayas, or the Himalayan mountains. Good evening, Live Your Truth Yoga, Jai Annapurnama. And Haimavatī was the daughter of Haimavanta, which was the king of the Himalayan mountains. And another way that we hear this name of the Holy Mother is the Ganga, the actual Ganga Maa, the Ganga River herself. And the Ganga river came from the celestial realms and then manifested at the Himalayan mountains, hence why Kali Maa is also called Haimavatī. Parvati is also known by this name. And another interesting thing about this name and form of Kali Maa is it's a synonym for the Ayurvedic herb, the medicine called Dreghia volubilis, known as sneezewort. And this is a climbing plant with heart-shaped leaves, and it has fragrant white small flower clusters, and it's commonly used for things like analgesia, so pain reduction, inflammation reduction, as well as treating a fever and cough. And another interesting thing about this name, because I always like to look at the Ayurveda application as well, because Kali Maa gives us all of the Shakti and these healing herbs. So it's also the name of the healing herb Haritaki. We find that in Triphala, right? And we know that this is one of the chief herbs in Triphala that treats Vata imbalance. All right. Who of you out there have taken Triphala before? It's a really common, awesome rasayana and rejuvenator. All right, name 168, Māyā, long A, Y, long A. So Māyā means when we look in the Kali Puja book, it's defined or listed as she who is the great measurement of consciousness. Let's look at that closely. So Māyā, we know, is a supernatural power that causes illusion. But Māyā is also understood as the veil that creates this delusion or this illusory separateness or separation from the ultimate reality of the universe and the ultimate reality of God. Māyā also refers to the creative or magical hypnotic power of the Divine Mother. And Māyā also means to be glamored, not like glamorous, but to be glamored, to maybe be a little confused, to have some impurities that cloud the mind, or ignorance is even one of the translations of Māyā. And Māyā is not false. It's not imagined. It is real. It's a clouding of the mind, and it creates this inability to perceive the world the way it actually is. Some people call it conditioning or samsaras or vrittis of the mind, disturbances of the mind. But let's think about Māyā, Kali Maa as Māyā Maa. Who's ever been a child and, your mother told you part of the truth, not to conceal or lie, but only told you part of the truth because you were a little kid and really didn't need to deal with or shouldn't be exposed to all that information. And when I think of Māyā Maa, Māyā Kali Maa, I think of the mother as creating this veil, creating this illusion to protect me, or to protect those who are not prepared, who are not able or ready to perceive the world the way it actually is. So it's not always like deceit or trickery. It's also a way of allowing us to come to the truth when the time is right. Okay, name 169. Now remember, we're going over 1,008 names. That's going to take a little while. So if you're not subscribed already, be sure to hit subscribe so that you catch all of these. So name 169 is mahāmahī. Mahāmahī. And we've gone over Maha many times. It means great, terrific, fantastic. And Mahī is basically another name for the earth. So the great Mother Earth. She's the streams, the oceans, the wind, the fire, the clouds, the forests, the mountains, everything. All right, now we get into 3 of her names, Kali Maa's forms, that have the common denominator of naga. So first, let's talk about what a naga is. So nagas are considered semi-divine beings. They are sometimes considered part human and part celestial, part cobra, and they're associated with mystical initiation. Now, first thing that happens is people say, oh, it's a serpent, trigger. And some people get into the mode of fear, and they think of it in terms of like temptation or forbidden knowledge or even deceit. But nagas in so many cultures, so in Thailand, Cambodia, Indonesia, China, Japan, Hinduism, Tantra, all of these different cultures and lineages, they understand nagas as very auspicious beings. Many times they're depicted as dragons. Oh, so I've got some pictures I wanted to share this evening. So this is one of the pictures that I drew of the naga, or Nagini Maa, and she came forward as a dragon, and she's got some wild hair there. But anyways, nagas are also seen across so many cultures as protectors. They specifically are protectors of temples and of the devas. So they're highly, highly revered. Nagas are also said to oftentimes live at the edge of waters or in the deep subterraneous? I'm not sure. Deep, deep waters down in the deep ocean. And they often call that naga loka. Or we also know that nagas reside in what are called patala loka. Now, as above, so below, as within, so without. So the naga patala loka is not only down in the nether regions of the, their celestial, earthly, and then lower realms. It's also found in the lower legs, so the thighs, the knees, the ankles, the calves, the patala chakras. All right, so let's look at the name 170. Nāgayajñopavītāṅgī. And this is translated in the Kali Puja books as she who is the sacred thread on the body, or the snake, the thread, the snake, and the adornment of Kuṇdalinī. So we know that naga means snake, serpent, cobra, and yajñopavītāṅgī means a sacred thread that is worn, typically over one shoulder, to show a type of spiritual initiation or a discipline, like a sampradaya. And angini means body or limbs. So we often see Kali Maa with serpents around her arms, her legs, her chest. This is one picture that I drew several years ago. And this is Ma Kuṇdalinī, serpent of the sky, and Ma Nagini, stirring on high. And I wrote on there, be with me, mother, be with me, I pray, enliven my worldly senses, enliven the display. So, the imagery of the mother and snakes is very, very common. If we also think about the concept of the naga, or the serpent, even in standard medical practice, you see the caduceus with the two snakes crisscrossing in the medical symbology. And this was a drawing that I did that shows, the two sides of the Kundalini energy, the Rajasic, the Tamasic, the Ida, the Pingala. And if you study the subtle body, these are considered energy currents that crisscross the major psychic centers in the body. Now, when we look at name 171, it's just Nagini, Kali Maa. And this means she who is the snake. And Kali Maa, like I said, she's got that classic iconography. And I just wanted to share some more pictures. I had a lot of snake pictures. And this is a classic one of like an Ouroboros of the eternal serpent, the eternal Shakti that is circulating back upon itself. And I drew it coming out of the triangle, the bindi, which is inside of the Kali yantra. And one of the other ones that is coming out of the central Kali yantra triangle, there's much more to the yantra outside, is a whole bunch of serpents coming out. I like these, they're fun. One other that I liked has the trident, and it's just actually one snake, but it's double-headed, and it's coming out of the center, the bindu, inside of the yantra center. Okay, so Nagini Maa. Name 172 is nāgaśāyinī, and this means she who rests on snakes. So like laying on a bed of snakes. And I had a wonderful time drawing this particular image where she is enclosed in this, halo of light, and there's soma raining down into the pots next to her from the Himalayan mountains, and she's resting on a bed of serpents, and they're also, climbing on her and things like that. When I was a little girl, my dad had a big giant ball python, and the neighbors thought I was crazy because I'd be riding my bike and it would be on my neck. And then now that I look back at it, I'm like, interesting. But anyways, one other one that I wanted to share is Nagini Maa with the serpent up on her head. And this one I wrote, Nagini Mother, circle my crown, awaken my mental, my temporal mind. And when we look at nāgaśāyinī Kali Maa, form 172, Shayani means she who is sleeping or laying down or dwelling on the serpent. And when we understand the physics of the subtle body, we know that Kuṇdalinī is down at the base, the root chakra. We've gone over this a couple times. And that she's laying dormant, waiting for us to awaken. Some people say, oh, we're waiting for Kuṇdalinī to awaken. Well, does Kuṇdalinī need to be awakened? No, we have to be awakened to the Kuṇdalinī so that we have enough know-how to harness that energy. I like to compare Kuṇdalinī to, let's say each human has a certain wattage capability, and some people are currently operating off of a nightlight wattage, and certain people are operating off of, say, a 60 watt bulb capacity, and then other people are possibly a 120 or a floodlight or an arena light, right? And it's not that Kuṇdalinī is asleep, coiled at the base of the chakra, but it's how much have we awakened to the power of Ma inside of us. So a couple other images I wanted to share. This one in particular I really like. She's got her classic skull bowl that is filled with blood, and she's got her classic skirt of arms, and she has the classic mudra, as well as she's holding a flute, because I deeply understand Krishna and Kali as the same, just different sides of one coin. So she's holding the flute, and then she has all these nice different snakes coming around her. Some are dark, some are red, and that's representing, the Ida and the Pingala. And she's that central Sushumna, grounding, pure energy. Oh, a couple more I have. So this one I really enjoyed. This is Nagini Maa, or the omnipotent Nagini Maa. And she's, coiled and rising and coming up. And then one last, maybe two more. I had a lot I wanted to share tonight. This one is, Nagini Maa, and she's not only sitting on the coiled snake, and sitting on the coiled snake really represents mastery, because Kuṇdalinī can move through the body erratically, or in a way that's not helpful, in a way that's actually harmful, especially if the practitioner doesn't know what they're doing or they're not quite ready. It can come out as psychosis. It can manifest as all sorts of different problems, even physical diseases. I've known people who did inappropriate spiritual practices and then had psychotic breaks. Were actually diagnosed 5150'd in the hospital, diagnosed as psychotic or schizophrenic. And then after about 6 months to a year, they recovered and went back to normal. And the thing that they had in common is that they were doing specific types of work to work with Kundalini, but they weren't prepared and ready. Their vessel, it's like blowing a light bulb. They weren't quite ready. The other thing that we see is that she has these 5 serpents over the top of her head. And those are showing the mastery of the 5 sense organs. So if the sense organs aren't purified, aren't functioning in the absence of a certain amount of māyā, when Kundalini does rise, there's sometimes confusion and problems. Okay, I'll leave that one there. I don't have a sticky note. It's too obscene. So again, our verse for tonight, we looked at many forms of the mother who is from the Himalayan mountains, the mother who is the manifestation of the universe, the mother who is māyā, who is a veil, who brings illusion, who brings also a certain amount of separation and protection until we're ready to see the world as it is. And also mahāmahī, the great Mother Earth, and then 3 forms of Kali Maa that are expressions of serpent and naga energy. So I hope you enjoyed those names. And I'm interested to know, I've been getting private feedback as well. What are your experiences with these names? How are you creating this new understanding or awareness with Kali Maa? We have a question. Do you have any of your books available? Oh, so Kali Gnosis is still available on Miskatonic Books. It's also available through Sirius Limited Esoterica. And they only printed 333. It's a hardback book, and it's filled with all of my drawings. They are in black and white. And my poetry, my channeled work, some praxis, and a lot of different ways to understand the mother, but also a illustration and account of my experience with the mother. So it's personal, and then it's all just tons and tons of images and poetry and different writings to the mother, as well as a strong section on the Dashamahavidyas, the 10 wisdom goddesses, how to work with them, and then some essential praxis for the mother. All right, everybody. Well, I hope I see you all next Tuesday, 6 o'clock Pacific Coast time. And if you have any questions, give me a buzz, leave a comment, or if you know how to personally contact me. If you don't, my website is in the links and stuff like that. All right. Jema, Jema, Jema.